Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by. So when you watch the news, sometimes they'll tell you stories that it's not the whole truth, or they could be presented better, but it almost seems like they're trying to push you to think a certain kind of way rather than just tell you what happened. These stereotypes permeate the news cycle in a lot of different ways, and I've seen one of these stereotypes falling apart recently, but unfortunately it came at the cost of someone's life. There was a Twitter user that I've seen around a lot that went by the name of Eden Knight, and her story is frankly a tragedy. She was living in the United States for quite a while. I believe she started transitioning last year, maybe the year before that, and was living happily here in the USA. And she was contacted by someone who claimed he could help her, fully get her citizenship so she could live in this country freely. And what he actually was someone working for her family who live in Saudi Arabia. They took her home to be forcibly detransitioned, and rather than live a life that she did not want to, you know, this double life, she chose to take her own life. You know. And the coverage around this, I've seen a lot of people that I follow posting their immemorials and, videos on YouTube, but there's been actual news agencies covering this, and they're not hiding the fact that she's trans. When normally, when I see a trans person in the news that was the victim of hate, which caused them to either take their own life or they were killed for it, the media will do everything they can to hide that they were trans, to make it seem like this was just something that happened. You know, the world is crazy and people die all the time, and they will bury the fact that this person was the victim of a hate crime, or the victim of hatred, I should say. And on the flip side of that, if a trans person does anything good, when the news covers them, they will make it known that they're trans in the worst ways possible. I've seen articles that'll call somebody by their name, and then in parentheses, they'll say, who was born as dead name. They'll say, this person who lives as a woman now. And it's ridiculous to say something like that. When if you want to make it known that this person is trans, you can just say trans person. That's easy. Now, if a trans person does anything bad in the news, they will absolutely make it known that this person is trans in big bold letters, because that's kind of what their goal is right now. At least that's what it seems like to me. The overall demonization of these people. If they do anything bad, it's all trans. It's their agenda that's causing this to happen, which it's ridiculous. Especially when you see the other media stereotypes. I think the most famous one, at least as far as how funny it was to me, Zach Fox posting his, that man on the jet ski, and it says, "This is how the news will cover a white man who's just murdered his entire family." And it's true. That happens a lot. Well, they'll choose the most clean cut family photo for this person who just, took out their entire, their wife, kids, and extended family, and they got the picture of him as a pastor. Now, on the other hand of that, and I have seen people say this a lot, and I've noticed this myself, that if there is a mass shooting event, if they do not say the race of the person who committed the crime, it is almost always not a white person. That they will say that it is a white shooter, but they won't say if it's another race. I wish that the media would just, be upfront with the facts of the matter whenever anything bad happens, but they've got money to make. Those articles get a lot of clicks from people who, say the media wants to cause a race war, and people who, are anti-gun. Both of you are marketing tools for your friends because you're sharing those articles and they're getting their ad revenue off of you. That's just how the news works now. When it comes to Eden Knight's story, there's been a lot of good coverage where they say everything that happened. They call her by her name. They call her Eden. They call out her family that did this to her. They call out the agency that they hired to bring her home. And it sucks that this had to come at someone's life. But I hope that this gives more trans people the dignity they deserve. Because they want to demonize these people in life. But when they're the victims of crimes because of this demonization, they want to wash their hands of it. It's not our fault. We just put these earworms in everybody's brain. I hope things will get better, at least with media coverage. But, we'll see what happens. And I guess until the next video, y'all try to have a good day.